Yeah, so I'm struggling a bit because I wanted to share some stuff with you guys and see what you think. So basically, my concern is rather around social media, but more so around crowd pleasing and how it relates to us as Christians or believers. And I'm trying to gather my thoughts here, and I'm hoping I can articulate this well enough for you to be able to understand where I'm coming from. So recently, you've had, in particular, I say within the last year or so, you've had men who've had to step away. So these are people in the public space, and these are preachers, these are men of repute who've had to step away from ministry because either there was sin involved historically, which is likely to get exposed now. The people that I'm talking about were exposed and the issue was dealt with. Well, at least from my understanding, the issue was dealt with. If there was punishment or consequences, that was dealt with. But the exposure has somehow led them to kind of step away from the public arena and now are no longer involved in public ministry. My concern here is that I know for a fact that I've done things in my life which I'm not proud of, which I don't want anyone to know. And I have confessed this stuff to the Lord, and I felt the Lord has forgiven me, and I've moved on from it. And the expression we always use is it's under the blood. I'm not tolerating sin or saying that, we can hide sin or whatever it is. There's always going to be exposure of some sort. But I think when an issue has been dealt with, at least on the human level, we should be able to say it's done, it's finished. So now how do I relate that to social media? Right. Social media drives a lot of traffic. And unfortunately, the algorithm seems to prefer a lot of reshares, likes, and people actually draw income from the volume of traffic going through their channels or watching their videos. It's a source of income. It's a source of life. People have built careers off social media. And I see the lure of social media. I'm more for that. I use it as a platform to do what I do. And obviously, I do understand how the algorithm works as well. But I wanted to look at how certain people in the scriptures were actually motivated by likes or people pleasing or being acceptable. And what social media is now is a platform that demands likes. It's a platform that demands people pleasing. It's a platform that demands that we all fit in to be able to draw that volume of views. Now there's a guy called Herod Antipas. This guy marries his brother's wife, and John the Baptist would condemn him for this act. This man would be obviously irritated and arrest this guy. And one day, while having this massive banquet, this massive feast, Herod's wife, Herodias, would have the daughter dance. And Herod and his guests would actually enjoy this dance to such a point where Herod would say that he was willing to give up to half his kingdom to her. That's how pleased he was. And she'd go back and obviously consult with the mom and come back and say, okay, can I have John the Baptist's head on a platter? And Herod would eventually consent to this, but this was to save face. This was because he had made certain declarations. In essence, what I'm trying to say is sometimes we do the wrong thing to save face, to fit in, to please the crowd. I emphasize this is the likes that we seek on social media. I'll give you another example. Acts chapter 12 is a story of Herod who takes one of the Jameses, the apostles, and he has them killed. And the Bible says because this guy saw that it pleased the Jews, he took Peter to have him executed as well, same stuff. And again, this was people pleasing, this was crowd pleasing, this is for the likes. And I'm just trying to illustrate the dangers of us seeking these likes. And sometimes we're very much aware of the evils that this does. But there's another story in the Bible, and this is Aaron. Aaron is the brother of Moses. Moses disappears onto the Mount Sinai, and he's getting the laws from the tablets, or the 10 Commandments, the laws, whatever they were, from God. And he disappears for a long period, and the people become concerned because the leader has disappeared. So they go to Aaron, the brother of Moses, and ask him that he will create a god of sorts for them. And they take all the jewelry and heat it up, it becomes molten, and create this golden cup. And now, for the likes, for the pleasing, Aaron would exaggerate the status of that cup. He would actually call it, this is Yahweh, this is the God that got you out of Egypt. And you see that in social media where you have these fantastic exaggerations or people who do anything for likes, these clickbait style titles, or people making outrageous claims or going on to fringe topics and actually ending up heretical in the way they teach, just so that they may sing to the choir. So these are just my concerns. For me, I say all this because we tend to not focus on the mission and then begin to look at how people engage with our material more than anything else. God's commission becomes sidelined in our lives, and we focus on the likes or the views in the name of the Lord, knowing that the more acceptable we are to people, the more views. And for certain people, it means more income, it means more opportunities, it means more doors. And is that the commission? Is that what God has called you to do? Is that what is required of you by Lord Almighty? I'm sure we all know the story of King Saul, who was told by the Lord to exterminate the enemies of God. And he is told to totally eradicate all of them. And what he does is that he goes on, but he keeps certain parts of the Agagites. I believe it's the Agagites. I can't remember the actual tribe now. But anyway, here's the story. So I'll probably remember it now. I know that this king was called King Agag. But anyway, what he does is that he doesn't destroy or kill the king. He keeps some of the fattened, well-looking stuff for himself and his army. And when he's confronted by Samuel the prophet, he would say it was to please the people. All I'm saying here is we look at what's important. Is it the commission of God, what God sent us out to do, that matters to us? Or is it the likes and the accolades and the credits and the thumbs up that really matter? So that, to me, is what I'm considering at the moment. So I started this by trying to say, why are people's issues being dug out from the past? I think it's because material like that on social media does tend to draw a lot of traffic. Most of these heresy hunters or prosperity preacher debunkers or whatever they are on the platform because they know it gets views, and more views obviously equates to more income. I might be wrong on this one, but I do think to a certain extent, people who take little snippets of videos of other men and post them on their channel so that they can get the traffic in the name of doing a service to Christianity. Those are the likes. That's the Aaron type person who is exaggerating and creating stories so that he can get that thumbs up. Beware of those. Then you have the people, then I didn't even mention Peter, who literally denied the Lord 3 times so that he would not get excommunicated if he stood up for what he believed. You got those as well. King Saul, who rather chose to please people than to do the commission that he was sent out for. Or Herod, who chose to save face by doing the wrong things so that he can get accepted by the crowd. So yeah, that's me just sharing what I was thinking about, and I hope it makes lots of sense. But we're all vulnerable, we all want to be loved, but in the words of Samuel, to obey is better than sacrifice. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and God bless you. Bye.